guys, it's Rainy for Talk to Me Tuesday, and I'm going to try to have the world's quickest Talk to Me Tuesday because I have to go into work early. I have not seen your videos or commented because it just seems like it's just one thing after another. There's a lot going on with work that I just have to put my focus into, and unfortunately my personal life gets, pushed to the back burner a little bit, but I'm here and I promise that I'm not going anywhere. It's just things are very crazy at the moment. Last night I decided to put my star blocks up on the wall. You guys know that I've been working on Amanda's, I think it's called the Star Sampler Quilt Along. It's been a while since she's put out a block. She's had crazy things going on as well, so yesterday she put out a new block and I was like, it's perfect. I'll go ahead and make it, and it turned out that I was also missing a block that I wasn't aware of until I started looking at all my blocks and realized I missed one along the way, so I made that one last night as well. I had some downtime, so I just got caught up on this little quilt along. So this is block 7 and it's called the Indian Star. And then the newest one that came out yesterday is block 8 and it's the Crystal Star. And I did not realize until I hung everything up back there that I bought some more white background, and it's a different fabric than the one that's up there. It's a slight color difference, but it's not enough for me to redo all the blocks. I actually prefer this one. It's Joanne's Country Classic or something. I like that one a little bit better than the ones that are up there, so it is what it is. I'm thinking once it gets all put together and I do plan to heavily quilt this puppy, you're not even going to notice, or I won't even notice. But yeah, so that's progress on that. And then I started working on quilt labels. I wanted to make a really fun quilt label for the back of vintage paper piecing. And then I just started playing around with other labels and stuff. So I wanted, for vintage paper piecing, I wanted to have a vintage style label on the back of the quilt. So I chose the hexagon, I think it's called Grandmother's Flower Garden. It's a flower hexagon, pretty much is what it is. So I've made mine, and what I did was Vicky sent me in a swap. She sent me this package of hexagon squares, and it's just paper, so I used freezer paper. I used 2 of those and I glued the hexagon on there. And what I decided to do was to cheat because I wasn't going to hand sew. I machine sewed it with invisible thread and I think it looks great. I made another one. And when I made this one, I was like, I wonder what it would look like if I did it in a Phantom theme. So I made Harry Potter. But yeah, just my little Harry Potter fabrics. And with the one that I made, I put the heat and bond on the back of it. So I'm just going to glue it onto the back of the quilt and then just stitch around it with some embroidery floss. So there we go, and I will show you guys from the back. And none of this is hand sewed. What I did to fold the fabric over, I took some starch in the cap, and I did not have any brushes. So I got crafty and I used my tiny little eyeshadow brush, and that's what I'm using for my to paint my starch on. So what I do is I put the fabric onto this, and you just apply heat, and because it's freezer paper, it sticks. And then what I do is I trim my seam allowance all the way around. Here's another one I'm working on. And then you just, once you trim the seam allowance, you just take the starch and put it on there, fold it over, take a hot steamy iron, and it creases it all for you. And you just do one side out of a time. And then to sew it, because I didn't want to hand sew and machine sew, I used invisible thread. And it looked okay. I like it. So yeah, that's that. And with the diamond ones, I used the Fons and Porter ruler, and I think I'm using the 1 inch. Yep, I'm using the 1 inch, and it's already got the seam allowance built into it, so I didn't have to, you know, worry about that. So the diamond ones, I'm going to make a star for the back of this quilt using the fabrics that the cotton and steel fabrics. So yeah, and I'll just, I'm testing this one. I'm not sure if it's going to work out as great as the hexagon one did, but yeah, just playing around, cheating with hexagons by not hand sewing. I'm not gonna hand sew these guys. It's not gonna happen. So yeah, and I think there is one last thing that I was gonna share. Yes. So I went to my local quilt shop and I was looking at some more thread. The invisible thread for free motion quilting just did not work out for me. I tried for an hour and I was getting to that point after an hour of getting to the point of being frustrated. I could not find the sweet spot, and I know it's just such a horrible word to say, but I just could not find that spot of the right tension. It wasn't happening, and I decided I'm just not going to free motion quilt with the invisible thread. So I went to my local quilt shop and I was looking at a thread, and I picked out this one. It's King Tut Superior Thread. Love Superior Thread. And I think it's called something desert is what it's called, and the number is 995. And I thought it would be great. I even brought all my scraps for vintage paper piecing, and it looked great in the store, but whenever I got home, it just, this thread just seemed to just look so much better. It's the RFL 2610. That just looked much better for vintage paper piecing, so that's what I'm going with. But this, however, looks perfect with the stars. The fabric actually blends very, very well. The thread blends with the fabric that I'm using in all of the blocks. With the background, it's got that beige color, and it looks beautiful. So I'm going to use it for this quilt. I know I need to get like another spool or two, just so I can make sure I have enough, because these blocks, the reason why I'm doing this particular quilt along is that I cannot traditionally piece very well, so I thought it would be a great way for me to get more experience and join the quilt along, so that's why I'm doing it. But some of my seams are just slightly bulky, so I do know that I want to heavily quilt it to kind of flatten it out. So I think this thread will be great, and I think that is all I have to talk about. Hopefully things will calm down this week. Fingers crossed they do, and I can just get all caught up. But if I don't hate me. I have another web seminar today whenever I go in. We are changing the whole structure of how we're doing inventory and ordering, and all that is being changed. And I have Super Bowl Sunday this weekend, which is one of the busiest days at work. I have a manager who's going to be tested out this weekend. It's just a lot of stuff happening, so bear with me. I am still here, and hopefully I can get back into that groove of commenting and all that good stuff. I know I sound like a broken record. But anyways, love you guys, and I will see you when I see you, and have a wonderful week.